Well, I don't know that there's one best way because, let's face it, there are some neighbors or some parents of other friends who aren't going to respond to anything. And they don't want your kid around. And it's best that your child find another set of friends or stay away from that home. They don't need to be hearing that stuff. But most parents are fairly reasonable people. And I think if you went to them, if you downloaded a fact sheet on ADHD from my website or the CHAD website, and you just took it to them, this sort of 2 to 3 page description, or you called them and said, I've been meaning to come by or have you over for a coffee, or as part of this little social coffee clutch or whatever, you introduce this information about your child, about their diagnosis, about what it is, and the various things that you all are trying to do to contend with it. I think you might find these people being more compassionate than they ordinarily would. They're probably laboring under a lot of misimpressions that the public has anyway, that your child could be better, this is your fault, it's a result of parenting. And we sort of need to disabuse them of those ideas. But I like the honesty as the best policy approach to begin with. Now, obviously, if in the middle of this conversation it becomes very clear that these parents don't care, don't understand, and don't want to, then you should not be allowing your child to play at their home or under their supervision. Feel free to invite their child over to your house if they'll allow it, but I still think informing the public. We've had some teenagers carry around a card about ADHD in their wallet so that they can show it to people who are not familiar with ADHD, a coach or a policeman that pulls them over for speeding or, something like that. But very much like we got the idea from the Tourette Syndrome Foundation, which publishes small cards that are information that allow Tourette's people to share the information without necessarily having to explain it all themselves. But here's a sheet from a reputable source like CHAD or my website that they can learn from. The most you can do is to try to persuade them, inform them, maybe change their mind. And then the rest is shopping for more reasonable friends and parents of friends if you can. Now, some people ask, well, my child doesn't have an awful lot of friends. What can I do to try to improve that? Make your house the best place to play on the street. It's bribery, but I don't care how you do it. Yeah, you need to have the best toys in the yard. You need to have the best games in the house. You need to be somebody who feeds all visitors so that when anybody shows up, man, there's a fudgesicle in your hand and an Oreo and a glass of milk and here's the Wii system. And I mean, you are just going to create this place where they love being there, whether your son is there or not. Right? And hopefully some of these friendships will stick or take, or they'll be a little more forgiving of your child's immaturities because you're such a great place to be. However you can arrange this environment, you can't make other children like your child. That is not possible to do. You can only make them more likable, or make the environment in which your child exists more likable. And hopefully some of that sticks. So approach it that way, but you can't make another child want to play with your child. It's just not going to happen. Those children make their own choices.